VOC Network here with another unboxing, this time coming from the company Twinkly. And Twinkly is a brand of LED products that moves beyond just your typical, light up solutions and into the category of smart, configurable LED solutions that simply require their app. They have everything from curtain lighting that you can drop down on walls, both consumer-wise and professionally as well. You can cover an entire building with their lights, as well as decor lighting like LED rope, or they also have some amazing Christmas tree solutions where you can map out animations and lighting patterns around the Christmas tree quickly and easily just by simply using their app. Again, app controlled. And this is called the Twinkly Squares. And Twinkly Squares is something quite interesting. We actually interviewed them just last month at CES discussing this product and some of the other things that the company does. And this takes wall art, or at least LED wall art solutions, to the next level. Now, some of these brands out there, you have various different shapes, geometrical shapes such as triangles, squares, circles, and other solutions that you can break out into patterns on your wall, and they can change colors and do all sorts of stuff. But this takes it to the next degree by adding pixel art into the mix, because instead of just having one solid unit that can sometimes change colors and have some sort of color patterns, these actually are able to display up to 64 pixels per panel with up to 16 million colors. And the purpose of that is being able to display more than just color. You have pixel art, you have GIFs, GIFs, you have animations, and you have other abilities such as passing on some of the content that might be running through your PC screen, or the screen on your PC, when you're playing your favorite games, as well as music sync as well, which we'll get to in a short second. All with the same ability of being able to break them out to various different patterns on your wall and have fun with it. And you can pretty much go endlessly with these. At the CES show, they had a very, very attractive wall with probably, I'd say, like 20 squares or so, even more than that, displaying everything that was on the PC below it, and it looked fantastic. And you can do all of that with this, and what we're looking at today is the starter kit. This one comes with 6 of those squares to get you started with. And then you break them out from there with expansion packs. Each expansion pack is an additional 3 squares, so you can build this out endlessly. You can actually set each individual square to be its own pixel art. Each one can have a different GIF going on it, or GIF. Each one can be just random colors or patterns. You can group them together, so it can be just a giant square, a rectangular design, or just, again, just break them out however you wish across the wall. You can create automated playlists. You can apply timers. There's a lot of things that are going for these, and it doesn't just stop there. What's really nice is to set them up, you'd think, okay, there's a lot going on my wall here. How do I, am I gonna have to connect this to a computer and program it and do this and do that? And no, actually, you just bring out the app, because again, app controlled on your phone, the Twinkly app, and you set it to map. And when you get them ready for mapping, all the squares pretty much create this kind of RGB pattern on them that kind of looks like a QR code in a way, and it technically is its own QR code. And then the app scans it, so it's able to identify where all the squares are laid out on your wall and what kind of pattern and where are their locations. And then you're able to see them on the app, configure everything you want, start sending patterns and GIFs and all sorts of stuff to them. It's easy. And that's what really sets them apart. In fact, we have some colleagues that have some Twinkly products, including one of the Christmas trees, and he spent the entire show just bragging about it, especially when we got anywhere close to the Twinkly booth. So obviously this company has some pretty solid products, and we can't wait to see what this looks like. On top of everything else, it also supports Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, and Apple's HomeKit. It also supports the Homey app, if you're using that already for some of your other devices, and it supports Razer Chroma RGB, as well as Omen Light Studio, and that allows you to extend your capabilities to, replicating what's going on your computer screen across your wall, which makes for a very entertaining display as you're playing your favorite games. Obviously, if you want the biggest effect for that, you're going to want to buy into more of these. So just having 6 on your wall probably won't be enough. You're probably going to want more, and then more, and then more. It might become an addiction. Who knows? It depends on how much you're willing to spend on something like this. But what's really nice is that the price point has definitely come a little bit down from our discussions at CES. This pack alone is $249. The extension packs are about $99. So 6 for $250 plus everything you need to get started. And then each one, for every 3 panels you add to it, is an additional $100. So if you consider it, the panels are about $33 a piece. And taking it one more step, which is an optional thing because you do have to buy something to make this happen. They do support what's called Twinkly Music, and it's an additional module you have to buy, again, and you integrate it in with everything else. And what it does is it just has a microphone that listens to your environment, and it's able to get all the Twinkly products, or at least the compatible Twinkly products, to interact with what it's listening to. So you're probably familiar with that, with many other products out there in the market that's able to respond to music, so you can get all your lights to dance around and react to what's going on in the room. Let it be bass, drops, or anything else that can cause changes in your animations or pulsating designs and stuff to take off. But that is an optional thing. You do have to buy the Twinkly Music, just the adapter or the unit that allows it to do that. We don't have that, so we can't really show you that. But it is an option that's out there in case you want to take advantage of that. But right out of the box, at least, you can change colors, change patterns, you can do GIFs and animations, and you can replicate what's on your computer screen using Razer Chroma RGB and Omen Light Studio. So first, before anything, what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. We're going to see what it looks like, what it comes with. And then, if it's convenient, we'll probably get them connected to see how quickly it is, or how quick it is to set everything up. But ultimately, you're going to want to go to plcnetwork.net later on when we have a full review about this later on, because obviously we're going to need some time to really dig into this to see what we think about it. But that being said, you have, at the top here, you have some important documents. For one, you have your Twinkly Generation 2 squares, just instruction manual. Then you have some templates here for getting them installed on the wall. And that's just so you know where your screw spaces are. You have some stickers, in case you want to put some Twinkly stickers on something, just regular stickers. You have a box here. Actually, you have 2 boxes, but in this first box, these are going to be all of your adapters to get all of them to connect to each other with. And then you have your cables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cables. Now the way this works, you have your main unit, your control unit, and then you have your extended squares from there. So this is 1 plus 5. In other words, is how they look at it to give you your 6. So 1 is going to be your home run, and then the rest of them are just going to extend from there. And you're going to use these data cables to be able to pass power and data to each square. We'll take some of these out so that we can get to the other box. Now it's also good to point out that these can operate via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, so you don't need to connect them to Wi-Fi, it seems, but you probably would if you're using certain functions like Razer's Chroma RGB, I would assume. But if you just want some of the basic features, you should be able to control things with just Bluetooth. And in that second box, this one's easy, you have your power adapter. And with that power adapter, it is just a simple wall outlet with a USB-C interface and 1 USB-C cable. And this simply just gets you from your power source up to the wall to wherever these are being installed. It's white, so it should blend in better. So as you can see here, the process seems pretty easy. You have your panels, you have your power going to the panels, you have your data/power adapters or extensions that extend to all the panels, and then you have your little connector bits and pieces here. And this is obviously just going to be for the install so that they can snap to each other, in whatever patterns that you wish for them to snap into, which I'm guessing, yep, there's going to be multiple different shapes and options here. Looks like just 2, really. So you have these smaller ones, and you have these bigger ones. And then you have the panels. The panels are protected with those plastic sheet you have to take off. On the back, this is where all of your connectors, once it snaps onto the wall, looks like they snap on like this, or like this. And then these are used for singular connectors, for maybe when they're more, it's less side by side and more, connected by the corners. The adapters for the power, they just plug into the back right here, and they move on to the next one. But that's it. 6 panels, power adapter, and data/power extensions, and all your connectors here. So what you do is you use these templates here to line everything up on the wall, install everything, adapt everything as you're installing it, connect them all into place with these bad boys, and then pull out the app. Register, obviously, for an account, and then put it into mapping mode, scan everything on the wall so it knows what the pattern looks like, and immediately start sending stuff to the panels. So what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna download that app and we're gonna see what it looks like. So what we've done so far is we got the app installed on the phone, and the app is pretty much you register for an account, and then it's gonna start searching for a device. Of course, we didn't have it plugged in yet, so it skipped that and said, okay, manually choose your own device, or choose the device you're trying to set up. You got Twinkly Music, Generation 1, Generation 2 strips, as well as the Twinkly Squares. I'm gonna choose Twinkly Squares. Allow Twinkly to access your location, establishing a Bluetooth, or a connection via Bluetooth right now. It wanted me to press and hold the little button that's by there in order for it to work. It says, congratulations, here is your device. It has found it. Now it does recommend using Wi-Fi. Obviously, you're gonna have the best connectivity by doing that. And you're gonna be able to make better usage of it with low latency versus what you're gonna find with Bluetooth. And in this case, sure, we're gonna use one of our networks here. So we finally got it to connect. It did take 3 tries. It did say, hey, look, we found Twinkly Light on your network. So it is something to point out. Took us 3 tries. The first time, couldn't find anything on the network. Second time, couldn't find anything on the network. Each time it saw the initial panel once we tried to boot up the app. The first try, second try, third try. But on that third try, eventually it said, hey, look, we found Twinkly Lights on your network. So it's something we find common with a lot of connected devices, IoT and other connected devices, but it is still worth mentioning. You know, have patience. You might not get it on the first try, and it could depend on many things. Like in the building here, it is a very Wi-Fi heavy building in terms of just wireless traffic. There's a lot of things going on in this building at the same time, so that could have something to do with it as well. But once it was connected, it asked us to name it. But when we went to name it, it just said, hey, there's a firmware update. So we told it to update firmware. The panel went off, and right now it's updating its firmware. And then when it's done updating its firmware, it looks like it's just finished. Now it dropped us right back into name your Twinkly Lights. And we'll go ahead and name it. We'll just say wall art. And it says, do you want to add additional panels? You can add additional panels to your setup later on. Yes, we want to add additional panels. And what that does is it takes you to a screen. This is physical setup. We advise you to refer to the user manual. Safely unplug the square master panel from the power source. Connect the additional panels into your desired layout. We advise you to plan the layout beforehand. Mount the entire setup into the desired position and plug it back into the power socket. All right, so we have everything plugged in. We have everything spread out. I think I connected everything together since I did not read the instructions. Shame on me. But it was pretty much straightforward. And you just connect the additional panels, desired layout, mount the entire setup into the desired position, and plug it in. Of course, you're seeing upside down because it's facing me, but I'm going to hit next. It says, before you configure your setup, it says, make sure you go through the results of different layout choices, abstract setups, or just a square setup. In my case, I went with a abstract setup. We're going to hit next. It's time to set up. Now use the lights to decorate your space, objects, make sure the maximum LEDs are visible. Once done, we suggest that you map your lights for the most accurate effects. So we're gonna hit map lights. Mapping tips, avoid reflective surfaces beyond the decoration or behind the decoration. Keep the mobile cam steady during the process. Ensure a moderate ambient light, not too dark. Allow Twinkly to take photos. So all I do is hit start mapping, and it turned all of these into a QR code kind of scenario. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold this above and we're gonna capture it. Now that I did that, it's telling me that it sees everything. It blinked and turned into a bunch of different lights. So now it's just kind of running through everything, showing that it was able to map everything just fine. So everything looks good. Everything's in order, so I'm gonna hit OK. And now it knows how these squares are laid out. It knows exactly their positions and each individual LED. So now I can say start using app or add another device. In this case, it's the only device we're adding, so we're gonna say start using app. Right now it's compiling effects for this device. And I'm guessing that means it's just downloading a content package here. It's taking a quick second. And now it's loaded everything in here. Now from here, I'm able to start choosing effects. And I can choose, right now I'm in wall art, so I can choose Marilyn Monroe. And obviously in this setup, I need more squares to really get Marilyn Monroe to look properly, or I'd have to put it into a square pattern. So it doesn't look the best for Marilyn Monroe, so we'll back out of her, and we're gonna go to Aurora. Now that looks cool, just Aurora effects. The possibilities that you have on this, again, they're endless because you can download all sorts of pre-made packages or create your own animations that you find online. If you want some angry cat GIFs or GIFs, don't hate me. You can upload those to these, or upload that to this very easily. So this is called Reflection, which is more of just kind of like a sunset. Again, that's probably going to look better if you have it in a square. You have starry pattern, or for starry nights, which looks kind of cool. Again, it's just kind of like a general pixelated animation. Now you have an actual sunset. And you can see it's pretty quickly. It's responding quickly. Now you have Venus, which obviously needs more squares. And you have options for 8x8, 16x16, so you can choose the density of your panels and what kind of artwork you have for them. In this case, we have Space Invaders. Of course, it's just kind of isolated to this. If this was in a square pattern, because again, these are made for 8x8s and stuff, I mean, that would make sense. So I'm going to move past that and go to Ambience. And now you're going to be able to see all the panels going, because this is designed for any situation. You can also edit it, which would allow me to change the colors and the patterns and other things, and then I can apply it to that, or I can just back out and do Sherbert, which just goes between a bunch of greens, yellows, and oranges, it looks like. You have you got your celebrating, this one's called Wednesday Day Blue, or just Wednesday Day Blues. Or maybe you can just look at this as maybe celebrating Pride Week. You have kind of just scrolling lines here. This is called Rainbow Stripes. You also can go to My Effects. You can save your own stuff, favorites, all. How about Bright Twinkle effect here. And what's really nice is as you're seeing everything, the screen shows you the pattern that everything's in, so you can preview it live on your phone as it's doing it here as well. And you can see how quickly it's responding. I mean, it's pretty live, or at least I can see, I'm looking at it. But as everything's scrolling on the screen, I'm seeing the same animation here, so it's pretty much low latency. And this is a pretty cool effect right here called Snake. And of course, you have the original animation of just snow. You have waves. Now you just have pale rainbow, as well as so many other effects. Again, you can use your own logos and everything else, but of course, you can connect this to PC using Chroma RGB or Razer Chroma RGB to be able to display what's going on your screen pixelated onto this up here. Of course, if you're going to do that, it's probably wise to build out a lot more of these than what you see here, or at least duplicate or double the amount of squares we have here, so you can have 12 squares, which would take 2 more expansion packs. So that would take your price to $450. I mean, again, it depends on how much you're willing to spend on something like this. So again, this is $250 alone just here, plus, again, each additional kit is three panels for $99. So about $33 a panel. You can build this as big as you want. And again, at CES, they had a massive wall of these. It looked really cool. And by mass, again, like maybe 20 panels or so. But it looked really cool, and it really captured what was going on the screen below. So if you want to play your latest Souls game and have everything going on the screen, or Modern Warfare, or Halo Infinite, you'll see everything pixelated on the panels above you, or wherever you have them installed, above you, behind you, whatever. And it'll interact with everything that's on the screen. So in other words, it's just like you're mirroring your screen onto pixelated art. And it's a pretty neat effect, and it's cool that you're able to do that right out of the box using one of those software packages. The only thing that costs extra feature-wise is the whole Twinkly Music sync box that you can, buy as an optional accessory and install alongside this, so it can interact with the music in the room if you're playing music. It's a cool effect, but that is completely user optional. And of course, again, these are covered with plastic, so, they might look a little pale here. We're just keeping them protected for now, since we still have a lot of testing to do. And for that, you're going to want to go to POCnetwork.net, where we're going to have a full review about these. We're going to probably connect it to Razer Chroma RGB or the Omen Light Studio, see what we can get out of it, and what it looks like to us with at least 6 panels. It gives us a little something to go off of. It isn't as cool as what they had at CES, but we've already seen what it looks like with all those panels, so at least we have something to go off of. But we'll include all that information at PLCnetwork.net. We'll let you know what we think about it, anything about latency or anything else. We'll include that in the review. And if you liked what you've seen here, don't forget to subscribe. Follow us and subscribe for future content, as well as hit that like button to let us know if you like this video. And of course, use the comment section below to let us know, or others, what you think about the Twinkly product here, the Twinkly Squares. Is this something that you think you would definitely put in your gaming setup, or just simply somewhere's in your house for decor? Nice pixelated wall art. Maybe you want to put this in square formation and have Marilyn Monroe on your wall in pixelated form, or you just want something like this where it's just fun and animate it. Or you want to put your company logo on here. Maybe we'll put our POC logo on here or something and hang it up somewhere around the office. Who knows? There's a lot of options here. Maybe this is something for you. So definitely include that in the comments and share your own opinions, or if you have questions for each other or even the company, for the company if they're watching as well. As always, we thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time. If you want to stay on top of all the latest and greatest, and or at least the gadgets we cover, remember to subscribe right here. Subscription button. Click it. You're going to want to. There's lots of videos, interviews, previews, all sorts of stuff. Button. Click it.